is our Camp Tecumseh info video thing. Hello, home people. Let's see, from there to see if you guys, that's why your paper is out if you have any questions. So I will not be answering anything until we get to the very end, because almost every question you ask I'm probably going to cover. So every time you raise your hand, I'm going to be ignoring you. Don't take it personally. So that is why if you want to write a question down, you may. Your iPad is, I'm going to give you a chance where you have some influence over who gets to be in your group. And we're going to talk about that one too. Don't forget, you have IXL also coming due on Tuesday. Even if you did really well on it, don't forget the part where you're going to have to go through and do that with me. As far as Honor Society goes, I'm getting ready to ask you in a second whether this is a thing you are wanting to do or not. And you just have to say, yes, this is a thing I want to do, and then I will keep harassing you. Or nope, and then I will not keep harassing you. Home children, I'm not going to put this on the screen because, yeah.
On Riverside, that looked like a baby alien.
Alright, we
I
call
think
him
she got dropped on her
baby
head.
alien. Alright, now Camp Tecumseh stuff as we go through, and I'll get to cover all this stuff with you. There is now a Camp Tecumseh page on Camp. Y'all have way too close on this.
That's crazy.
If you go click on Camp Tecumseh page, this has today's video. Like this video is going to be right there at the end of the day. Video over here is for parents. So there's one for kids, one for parents. So technically, watch right. It's just that you guys will find this one boring and parents will find this one boring, but to each their own. It also has like the packing list, it has permission slips, it has information on there. So essentially, if your parents are wanting to know more about camp, go show them this page, then you'll be good to go. Today, I know you have questions. If you have not had an older sibling go to camp, you probably don't know much about it, so I'm going to try and answer it. If you have had an older sibling go to camp, you only know what they told you, and we all know older siblings sometimes lie. So I will do my best to try to help you out with this. If you have questions, you can write them down as we go through. Again, if you raise your hand when I ignore you, don't take it personally, for most of you. When we go to camp, it is going to be in April. We go the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. The Globetrotters go the second half of that week, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. You will not see a Globetrotter that week except for roughly 3 minutes on Wednesday when they are getting off a bus and you are getting onto a bus. So you're going to walk by and go, hey, how are you? Okay, bye. And then you're going to be gone. That's as much as you get to see them. Same thing with half the stars. Stars whose last name is between A and J, they go with us. Stars whose last name is K to Z, they go with the Globetrotters. Looking at the calendar thing, this week is spring break. We come back to school for a week, then we go to camp. So it gives you an idea, it's towards the very end of April when we finally get there. And Caleb's learning how to write a question down. You are going to have influence over who is in your group. I want camp to be fun. I want you to have someone in your group that you want to be with. You are actually going to have like 3 groups that you're going to be a part of. You get to influence one of those groups, mostly. One group is going to be your cabin group. That is going to be roughly 12 kids of the same gender as you that are all sleeping in a cabin together. You're going to have another group that is 8 kids of both dudes and chicks that you're going to be eating meals with. Completely different than this group. And then you have a third group, which is completely different than those 2 groups, which is going to be about 8 to 10 kids with both genders, dudes and chicks. This is who you spend all day with doing all your learning. This is the one you get to have influence on. What I'm going to let you do is this will be open for about a week. There is a Socrative where you get to tell me who are the 4 people you want me to look for to put into your group. And you are going to get a chance to tell me. The choices you make today shape your camp group in the future. I'm the one that makes your camp groups. I'm the one that decides how good of a person you are. The more you irritate me, the more it's going to impact you. Keep that in mind. If you are Honor Society, you are going to get more than one of your friends in your group. You could get 2 friends, sometimes 3. In a few rare cases, you are going to get 4 of your friends in your group. But you are also going to earn it, because that kid is going to camp. There are a bunch of that kid that exists. You know who that kid is. They're that kid in your class that makes you want to strangle them, and you're like, oh my God, what is wrong with that kid? They go to camp. They have to be in a group. I can't put them in a normal group because they're that kid. So they go in a group full of honor society kids. So if you find out you've got 4 of your friends in a group, realize you probably also have that kid in your group too. So keep that in mind. And I'll talk more about groups as we go forward. Also, you have to rank your friends, because when you go on to Socrative, you're going to rank them from first most important to fourth most important. Because the way it works is, let's say that Lucas and I want to be in a group together. If I put Lucas as my number 1 and Lucas puts Mr. Broviak as his number 1, there is a good chance we're going to be in the same group together. But let's say I put Lucas as my number 1 and Lucas is like, Mr. Broviak guy's kind of creepy, so he doesn't put me on his list. I'm not going to put the 2 of us together, because if Lucas finds me creepy, I don't put us in the same group. So I lose my number 1 choice. My number 2 choice is Benta. So now I get to go check Benta's group. And if Benta has me listed, I'm in Benta's group.
Yay.
But if Benta also doesn't have me listed, I go to my number 3 choice. Some of you, we're going to go through all 4 of your choices, and we're not going to find a match. This is where you have to know who your friends are. The good news is, no one knows your friend ranking except you and me. No one else will ever see it. So if I go ask Benta, did you put me number 1? Benta can go, yeah, of course I did. And no one will ever know the difference. But this does require you to awkwardly rank your friends when you submit them. This is where we get to bring in all kinds of 7th grade drama. It's the bestest. We will come back to this. This is why you have an iPad. I'm going to give you a chance to start it. It'll be open for about a week as you get to make your decisions.
Okay.
It does cost money to go to camp. It costs us $160 to steal you for 3 days, because we have to pay for transportation. There's a good chance you want to eat food while you're there. Most of you don't want to sleep outside underneath the tree, so you're probably going to want a roof over your head, stuff like that. It costs money. For parents, it is a good deal to get rid of you for 3 days. Most parents would pay much more than that to get rid of you for 1 day. So this is a great deal for them. If money is an issue and your family cannot afford the $160, we do not leave kids behind for money. You just have to have your parents contact me and say, hey, money is an issue. I will find a way. We have people who donate money. We will find a way for you to go. You do not stay home because of money. You stay home because you're a turd. There's a difference, not because of money. If your parents go, they only have to pay $50, but I think we're full on parents, so by now we should know if your parent is going or not. Money is not due until March, so you have a while before they have to pay. It's why some people have already paid 80 of it. I have the list. At the end, when you're working on your friends, I will tell you who is missing money and who is missing permission slips. I have permission slips. If you would like one, they are on my desk where you see that blue stack. At end of class, I will remind you again as I talk about permission slips if you want to come grab one. I also, we'll talk about that. All right. What is Camp Tecumseh? It's learning outside. It turns out that there's a phrase called touching grass. And some kids have never actually done it except in a video game, and that does not count. So we're going to send you outside so you get to actually touch real grass. And there's going to be all kinds of learning. It is a gigantic thing that has rivers, it has a lake, it has trees and hills and mountains and hidden areas and spooky cabins, and you're going to be running around this entire area. You're going to be in a group of about 8 to 10 kids and 2 high schoolers while you're there. What do we do? A lot. This is like the Wolf's Den, which is an old wolf area that I had out there, and so you're going to be running around and learning. You are not with teachers while you were there. You are going to be with 2 high school kids, because we know you don't learn from teachers because we see it every day. So instead, Elena's going to learn to wait till the end of class to raise her question. So we're going to have you in a group with 8 to 10 kids and 2 high school kids. You do see teachers at mealtime, because we're helping give you the food. and at nighttime, because we do entertaining skits to make you giggle, and at nighttime to make sure that you guys aren't staying up being hooligans. And then every once in a while when you're walking through the woods, sometimes spooky teachers like to hide behind trees and scare you.
Whoa.
But beyond that, you're mostly going to be with kids throughout the day. You are going to do school stuff, but it's not the school stuff you do here. You have math, we have science, we have English, we have social studies, but it is not like sitting in a classroom. You are literally going to be walking around. Like our science is not you sitting in a classroom. It is going to be, hey, when this tree falls, how many kids will it squish? Or when you're running down this hill and you're racing a kid in a sled, what makes one kid go faster than the other? When you're doing the English parts, it's going to be like a response thing, like when you saw Billy get eaten by the brown bear, what were your thoughts? And you're going to write down whatever your responses might be on that one. And so you're going to have your responses that you're going to be writing. Same thing with social studies. You're going to find like the old haunted house that's out in the woods, and you're going to try and figure out like the clues about what's going on at the haunted house, and that's our social studies. So there's learning that happens, but you never sit at a desk the entire time there. You're just running around in the woods with other people. You also do activities. And so all of these activities are ones you do. If they scare you, you can sit out and watch other people. I don't recommend it, but we're not going to force you to have fun. One of them is canoeing on an actual lake with a canoe. You're going to have your little don't drown jackets on, and you're going to be out there with other kids going paddle, paddle, paddle. They have these things called river dolphins, which are really weird because they live in lakes, but science is weird. And you can see the little river dolphins that are out there in this area, and you're going to paddle around. If you're scared, you can sit on the beach, and they have like a little sandy beach area, and you can just sit there and watch the people. Hopefully, it's really sunny because it's in April, but if it snows, you still go canoeing. If it rains, you go canoeing. If it's really hot out, you go canoeing. No matter what, you go canoeing. And it's Indiana. We have gone in April, and it has been 80 degrees. We have gone in April, and we've had snow. Yay! I have no idea which way it's going to go until we get closer. You're also going to have this thing called the black hole, which is this big sled. You get to go down this tube down the side of this hill, and you get to race another kid. There's actually two of them. There's one here, and there's another one that's like on this side of it, and you get to race each other, and you get to learn about science because you learn about friction and why you're going to be going on a sled because it helps you go faster. And so technically that's learning science. And so we find little ways of working it in. We're going to do flying balloons, where your whole group is going to get together and you're going to make this balloon out of like tissue paper, not like sneeze tissue paper, but like when you open up your Christmas presents kind of tissue paper. And you're going to fill it with all of this hot air, and it goes flying up into the air, and it goes into the trees. And we're going to teach you like science on how to make it go higher. Sometimes science is going to teach us that flames and paper don't mix, and every once in a while we get to learn how fire extinguishers work. It's not common, but it has happened. It's only hit a kid once, but it was a kid that deserved it. And so that'll be the idea of you guys getting a chance to fly things. Also, we have this outdoor rock climbing that you're going to be doing, where you're going to be climbing this big rocky area. Here you can see there's a balloon actually that just flew past and just missed that kid. If you can hit one of the climbers with your balloon, you get bonus points. If you're climbing and you get hit with the balloon, you won't die because it's tissue paper. But we may laugh at you. But we're going to laugh at you all the time anyway, so you'll probably be fine. And you get to scamper up. Here, behind the little D, right there, is the chocolate owl. If you are really good at climbing and you can scamper up it like a hyper little squirrel, you can get to the hidden chocolate owl, and you get to break off a little piece and take it as a souvenir and go nom 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 nom.
Wait, really?
We also have all types of different activities we do. We're going to talk about square dancing is one of the things that we get to have you do. And I always thought that kids would hate square dancing, but apparently junior high kids are weird. And we get there, and it's, I know, every kid when I talk about it now, they shake their head no. And then you get there, and all of a sudden you see all these kids jumping around and dancing and having fun. Who knows? But the square dancing is the thing we do. This is a blind hike where you put on blindfolds and you have to hold on to a rope and you go hiking through the woods and you have to put your trust into other people. We have, this is our groups, like the groups that you spend all day with. Those are little creepy monsters. That's just a group of people. And so this is, again, we have the dancing that is going to be coming into it. So that's where the square dancing comes in, of kids jumping around and being weird. One of the nights we have a professional storyteller who comes in and he tells you stories, and you guys all get to sit around and listen. And he has props he brings in, and like big pictures, and he acts things out and stuff like that. Then the second night you're there, we do skits where all of the high school kids and the teachers get together, and we put on costumes and we try to entertain you. We do a lot in 3 days. You are going to be exhausted as we go through here. You are hiking somewhere between 4 and 7 miles every day for 3 days, up and down all of these hills, and then you get to sleep well at night, and you get to be all hyped up on sugar that you bring with you, and then you get to come back to school, and you get to go, school's awful, because you had so much fun while you're there. Is this school? Yeah. Okay. It is considered school, but it's just not any kind of school you've ever been to. This is what your classroom is going to look like. You have a chance at different times. You'll be sitting outside like at a picnic table they have all over camp, and you have like these little books that you'll do the work in, and you'll just sit there and do your learning. So it's considered school, just not really any kind of school you've done before. So when we go to camp, typically we don't have a lot of behavior issues, because just like you don't have behavior issues at Kings Island. But we also have 7th graders there, and 7th graders make some interesting choices. So sometimes kids have to be redirected. Mr. Butts does not go up, and neither does Mrs. Twasson. They have to stay back and deal with 8th graders who have issues. So you have a special principal while you were at camp. You know this person already. It is this person. They are in control of all of your punishments and things that happen at camp. Now here's the thing. Here, I'm all smiley and happy and things go my way. At camp, I'm also smiley and happy and things go my way. Until you make choices. Then we don't have B points at camp. I don't need B points at camp. I have what's called creative problem solving. And when I have creative problem solving, I don't need B points. Turns out I have other ways to solve problems. Now given, I don't have to do it often, but when kids challenge me to be creative in how I solve problems, I like to be creative. You have rec time. It's like recess, but we don't want to call it recess because you're big kids now. It's recreational activity time. And you get like 45 minutes where you get to run around. They have games. You can do volleyball, soccer, basketball, stuff like that. They have gaga, they have tetherball, they have foursquare. You can sit around and talk. They have a store you can go to. Or, if you make poor choices, we have what's called the Stump of Doom. What the Stump of Doom is, there's this big field where all the kids get to run around and play, and there's this tree they cut down and just left a stump on the ground that's sitting there. If you make me unhappy, you don't get to have rec time. You sit on the stump where all the kids can see you, and you get to sit there and look unhappy while they run around and have fun. And every time a kid comes near you, I get to go away, they can't make good choices! And I get to embarrass you as much as I want. Unless you make really bad choices, which doesn't happen often. Sometimes kids like to commit. In that case, you don't get to stay at camp. We have to call your parents, and they get to drive up and come get you. It's an hour-and-a-half drive to come get you, and an hour-and-a-half drive to take you back. If it's in the middle of the night, when you feel like being a turtling, then they have to come get you in the middle of the night. Sometimes, though, parents refuse to come get you, and you're like, I guess I have to stay at camp. Turns out I'm creative, and I have a designated child returning person. We call him Mr. Modulin, and he has his car up there. And anytime a parent refuses to grab their child, you get to ride back to Fisher's in a car with him. Turns out, very seldom does that happen. It's only happened twice, and both times have been memorable. I'm hoping we don't have a third time, but that's up to little munchkins. Do we take charter buses to camp? Absolutely. We have already started the chartering system, and to make it easy to recognize them, they've even color-coded all of our buses to make it easy to find. And so we have a whole fleet of buses that are going to be taking us up there when we head to camp. It's an hour-and-a-half bus ride. You won't die because on the way up, you are going to be so full of excitement and energy as you sit there and giggle and talk to your friends, you won't even notice. On the way back, you are going to be so exhausted, almost every kid sleeps the entire time back. Your biggest issue issue is going to be how much drool is on your jacket by the time you get here, because you are exhausted after hiking 20-some miles over the course of 3 days. Can you wear hats? Absolutely. I highly recommend it. You're outside for most of the time. Some of you guys have never seen this thing called the sun or touched grass, and there's every chance when you step outside, your skin is going to get crispy and burnt. I recommend you bring a hat and you wear it the whole time there. Plus, you're going to get this thing called hat head, and then when you take your hat off, we all have to laugh at you, and that makes things great. Is there a dress code? Yes and no. Who's your principal up there?
You.
Me.
Mr. Brovicast.
So I'm not super strict, and I have daughters. I completely understand. But bits need to be covered. If I look at you and I go, hey, goodbye, and like that, we have problems, and I will make you go change. We don't have issues very often, but if every once in a while and you go, I have nothing else to wear, creative problem-solving time. That means you let me choose how to fix this problem, which I don't recommend for you, but it's awful fun for me and the other 300 kids. Does everyone go to camp? No. Does almost everyone go? Yes. We will probably have about 5 kids stay behind. Typically, of our 130, I would say we average about 5 who won't go. It is not because we won't let you go. Typically, it is because either A, parents don't let them go because they get in trouble. That happens every year because camp is fun, kid doesn't do homework, or kid doesn't clean the room, parents don't let them go. Sometimes it's a religion or cultural thing. Sometimes kids just don't want to be away from home. We've had kids who are like, I've never left home. I completely understand. Don't leave kids behind for money. We seldom really have behavior issues that I'm super worried about this year. So our goal is to have everyone go. Do you have to go? No. It's like forcing you to go to Kings Island. I'm not going to make you go to it. I want you to go. It's memorable. Almost every kid who goes really enjoys it. I will fight for you to go. If your parents say no and you say yes, talk to me, and I will contact them and I will fight for you to go to Camp Tecumseh. I want you to be there. I want you to have fun. But if you refuse, I'm not going to drag you there. That's called kidnapping. Do you get to pick your group? No, but as I showed you earlier, you do get to have influence on who's going to be in your group. I want camp to be fun. I know the best way for you to have fun there is for you to be with friends. So I make your groups, I put you with friends, unless I can't because you put bad kids as your friends. But as long as you make good choices, then yeah, I will put you with a friend while you're there. Because I know kids make fewer bad choices and they have a better time when you're with kids you like. Now, you don't get to pick your whole group because part of junior high is making new friends, and I want you to make new friends, even if other kids are scary. Trust me, I see them every day. When do you find out who's in your group, cabin, table, your high school counselor? That Thursday before we leave.
What?
You will not find out till then. Here's why. 1, I can't put you into a group until you turn in a permission slip. We only have 40 permission slips turned in so far. So that's 90 kids I can't put into groups. I also can't lock your group in until you've paid your money. We've only had 30 kids pay money, so I can't do that yet. The biggest reason, though, is student drama. I've learned, mostly with teenage girls, that you guys will tell me that someone is your BFFF and they have to be in everything together. And then a month later, that same girl will come to me and go, I hate this girl. I want her to die. If I see her there, I'm going to stab her in the throat. And so I have to make sure you're separate. And then right before we leave for camp, that same girl goes back and goes, why is my friend not in my group? I said, you said you were going to stab her. She's like, that's last week. So I've learned I have to wait till the last minute before I lock anything in. If you could get rid of female junior high drama, that'd be different. But I don't think that's happening anytime soon. So, because of that,
so not possible.
gonna have to.
Yeah, totally.
As far as camp goes, is the food good? Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna be like top restaurant food, but it's good. I'm there the entire week. I eat a ton of the food. If you are a picketarian, the kid that's super picky and is like, I only eat noodles that are these 2 cups, then yes, you are probably going to have issues if you are not open to trying new things. Each meal is just one thing. It's not like a restaurant where you get to order. It's like eating with a family. Like one day we're going to have, say, pasta for dinner. The next night will be like chicken sandwiches. And you either eat the chicken sandwich or you don't eat the chicken sandwich. You don't get to order off a menu. So that gives you some idea, but the food's really decent overall. I mean, you can bring snacks if you want to. They also have like other options. Like, let's say if you're a vegetarian and you're like, but I can't eat a sick chicken sandwich. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you're set. We're in the woods. When we have mealtime, they have back doors we open, and you get to go out where the trees are and pick any leaves you want to eat. And we are I'm kidding, there's a salad bar. You just go and eat from the salad bar. They have a salad bar at every single meal. In breakfast, there's no salad bar, there's a yogurt and fruit bar. So if all you want to do is eat salads and yogurt and fruit, you can have that every single meal. For breakfast, they have real food like bacon and eggs, and they also have sugar cereal, because I know some of you guys can't live without your Cap'n Crunch. So they have both of those for you guys to choose as you go through. Are the cabins nice? Yeah. I mean, if you were to put a wall about halfway down my room, like where Josh is across, that would be about how big a cabin is, half of my room. And so that would be 14 people, plus bathrooms, plus showers, plus the little area for you guys all to hang out with each other. Because you're sleeping in these things called bunk beds, so it makes lots of room, so you'll be fine. The cabins are all inside, they're nice, they're new, there's no bugs in there, it's indoor plumbing, it's not like you have to go out and find a tree. There's like multiple showers that are in there, you should be fine overall. If you take medicine, you will take medicine at camp. I am aware, some of you guys need medicine to not be crazy. I don't want not crazy you there, so you will have your medicine, parents can drop it off. You have free time, as I mentioned earlier. We have the rec time, where you get a chance to like run around and stuff like that. You'll have about 45 minutes. Plus, some of you guys will have groups where you get your work done, and you'll have a bit more free time. Cabins, this is what they look like overall. So if you were looking into a cabin, this was when we first got set up. The blue things that you see, those are mattresses. You get a mattress that you get to sleep on. Do you see anything on the mattress? No. You have to bring your own bed stuff, as far as like sleeping bags, sheets, pillows. All we're going to give you is a mattress, so you're not sleeping on the ground. Also, in the picture, do you see this thing?
Outlets!
Aha!
They can bring our
So
food.
now, you don't have to freak out about outlets. There's a whole bunch of them in there, so you're good to go. But what if I need to curl my hairs? They also have them in the bathroom too, and they have outlets there so you can curl your hairs if need be. So that gives you an idea, bunk beds, how it's set up, and then in this little middle area where this kid is sitting, there's like a big open area with like a table where you guys can like sit and talk, play games, cards, and stuff like that. And then the beds are all around the outside. Things you're going to have to bring when we get to April, that week before we leave, when I tell you who's in your groups, I will talk about packing again, because you're not going to remember it now because it's in the future.
Can I take a picture of
But
it?
it's also on the website thing I told you earlier, so you can have it there, and I'm going to show it to you later. And you're not packing for another 3 months, so I'm not moving. Deal with my fuzzy noggin. You're going to have to bring sleeping bag or whatever you're planning to sleep on. I will tell you clothing-wise, that week before we leave, that Sunday, before that Monday, I will send out a parent-student square saying, here's our weather, here is what you should pack. It'll either be rainy, cold, sunny, whatever. I will tell you exactly what to do. Deodorant, you are hiking for 3 days in the sun. You need to bring anti-stinky stuff, because every year we have a kid who doesn't, and we have their whole group who complains that they're stinky. In that case, either we spray you down with anti-stink juice, or you have to walk 25 feet behind your group. So you want to make sure you're not stinky after being outside. Packing list, that's going to be on the site. Dress code, we talked about that. Don't freak me out. We'll talk about packing. I don't want you to freak out too much. But this suitcase for clothing is not a whole lot. Look at the top of your desk. Do you see that short end of the top of your desk? If you were to put your hands down so that you would see like a straight line, this is how big your suitcase is that you're bringing. This does not include your sleeping bag and pillow. That's separate. This is just for your clothes, and that's how big of a suitcase you get.
What?
I don't want you bringing a lot.
No.
It also means boy people. I want you to fill that. Every year we have a boy who shows up with a Ziploc bag and goes, I'm good for the week. And I go, no, you're not. I go, where's your underwear? And they go, huh? And I go, no, child. And just like we have girls who show up who have 4 bags, realize you all have to ride the same buses. Does not work. But we'll talk about that when we get closer.
No, but like I need like.
Things you cannot bring. You can't bring soft drinks at all. Because one, your stuff is going to get thrown around as we're unpacking and packing, and if you have a soft drink and it gets shaken up, and then all of a sudden it goes kabloopsy, everything gets coated in it, it becomes a problem. The other issue is we don't want you bringing a whole bunch of caffeine because we don't want you sitting up at 1 a.m. going and sitting in your room. So we forbid you from having the caffeine late. The biggest thing is you can bring snacks. You can bring as much sugar and Takis to bring your little heart's desire because sugar and Takis are going to make you go crash and then you go to sleep. Not a problem. Plus, if you smash your Sour Patch Kids into the ground, we can just take a broom and go and sweep it out. If you pour your Mountain Dew all over the ground, we can't sweep it out. Now you've got sticky syrup, and bugs love sticky syrup. And as soon as the bugs come in and kids start complaining, we have issues. Right now, when we go, there's no spiders, there's no bugs, there's no issues, no mosquitoes, and I don't want to change that. So you cannot bring soft drinks. Can't bring a knife, even if you're a Boy Scout, Girl Scout, Scout, no knife, no matter what. I know, if you're worried about the Indiana brown bear, and you're like, how do I defend myself from the Indiana brown bear? If the Indiana brown bear, and you see it, and it comes running at you, and you pull out your little knife, I don't think that's going to make the brown bear run away from you. Here's what I'm going to tell you now. I will make sure there is at least 1 star in every group. If you see the Indiana brown bear, you find the star, and you go, huh, and when they hit the ground, you turn around and run, and you yell, he's delicious, as you keep going. That is going to save you way more than your little sticky knife. Can't bring iPad. Well, can't bring your school iPad. Beyond that, that's up to you. Cell phones, I'm going to tell you not to bring them, and you're going to ignore me.
Yeah.
Because we're not responsible. I'll just tell you now, you can't leave cell phone in your cabin. They don't lock, and we have thieves. If you take your cell phone with you, there is every chance it's going to get wet because you're going to have to go canoeing, and if you fall in because you're in a canoe with that kid, it gets wet. There's creeks and rivers you can fall in if it gets wet. Our biggest issue has been kids who put the phones in their pockets, and they have big, loose pockets. And when they get behind their group, they go running, and then the phone goes tonka, 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 and then falls out when you're running along the top of a hill. And then you watch your phone go doo, 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 doo. Yeah, we're not going after it. That's an area we can't go. You just wave bye-bye to it. So I'm just giving you now, you can bring phone, but when your parents contact me, I'm going to play this part of the video where I go, do not bring your phone. Legally binding. Other than that, I would not recommend your own iPad, but once again, you're your own special self. You do not make up the work when you're gone. We take care of that. You just do your camp work, you're fine. Unless you're one of those kids in the super duper advanced math and you have like stroll, in that case you're on your own.
Dang it!
Sorry, you deal with that on your own.
I'm not sorry.
This is unfair.
That was
I'm smart. Yeah, weird.
Can you listen to all of the kids letting me know they don't want to be in the honor society anymore? Because honor society kids don't mock other children. They're supportive and leaders and say, I am sorry that this misfortune.
Sorry.
Why are you guys so mean to me?
Next up, as far as beauty time in the morning goes, hold your yelling. There is a wake up time.
What?
We were coming around, so hang on, it gets worse. You have to leave your cabin by 7:15.
What?
Hang on.
Let's go.
You have to be awake by 6:30.
What?
So if you don't wake up, it's okay. There are people who have a designated job to make sure you're awake. Now, if you're a girl, I'm not going in your cabin. That's weird enough. If you're a guy, though, no one sleeps in twice. That is up to you. But if you're a girl, there's other teachers who get to wake you up. But as far as that goes, if you need beauty time in the morning, we give you 45 minutes. If you need more than that, you wake up earlier than 6:30. That is up to you and the 14 people in your cabin. There is a bedtime at night. It's like 11:50, not 50, 15, and you'll be back to your cabin like at 10:30, so it gives you time at night, and again, you're going to be exhausted. There's games, basketball, gaga, octoball, stuff like that. I recommend bringing extra money. There is a store that you can go to and you can buy clothing, shirts, t-shirts. You can buy food. You can buy soda for those of you who are going through your caffeine withdrawal. That's when you can buy it. And so you can buy stuff like that. All right. I am now, if you would like to do this, you may. There is no hurry for it yet. I'm also going to be telling you whether you owe money or a permission slip. If you need a permission slip, they are on my desk over there. And then I can take questions after I run through and do this. Home people, this is all you need, so you can sign up if you want.